All right, and it is now time for the Week 9 Fantasy Show where we recap starting out with what happened in Week 8. And it was a very interesting Week 8. Some high scores. Oh, speaking of the
Hello?
devil.
Hello, I'm here. I'm
Hello.
here.
Okay, we
Hello,
were we were
hello,
just saying how
hello.
95%
Can
my
everybody hear
ass.
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, like I was saying, a very interesting week, as you'll see. Starting with my matchup versus Ernie, and what a doozy it was. 173 to 167. I pick up a massive win after it looked like I was toast midway through Sunday. My team came alive on Sunday Night Football to get me back in it, and then Chris Boswell on Monday night came through with the points I needed. Unlucky for Ernie as he falls to 3 and 5 after putting up 167 points, third most this week, yet he gets a loss. I move to 5 and 3, most points on the week. I blame Pusa and Ernie himself for this loss as they jinxed themselves. They were doing the GG won strat for most of the day, and then right when Ernie thought it was safe enough that he had won to start talking shit on Sunday night, then CD Lamb goes off in the fourth quarter for two long touchdowns and 39 huge points. Shout out to my number one pick. That's what I drafted you number one overall for, and I stole it away from Ernie and got me in position. Anybody want to make any comments on this victory or this
Yes.
matchup? Go ahead.
Great win, golfer.
You
Great
did
win, golfer.
not.
I believed
Pusa,
you the whole time.
UFFF.
I
UFFF.
believed in
We
you
all
in
know.
return.
No, you
No,
didn't,
you
son.
did not. You were happy that I was losing and you were going to be ahead of me on our bet. So fuck you, because now we're still tied.
Look, Ernie thinks scoring 167 and losing is the worst part of the week. You did not have the worst loss of the week, Ernie. It's okay.
Oh,
You'll get through it.
okay. Yeah, yeah.
You'll
Shut
get
up,
through it.
Raz.
The
You don't
best
deserve to
part was
talk.
Ernie, once he thought he had won on Sunday night, he was like, man, my team really needed this. Thanks, golfer. Well, Ernie, your team got what you needed. Another loss. So enjoy that. And now at 3 and 5, you're on the outside looking in. But your team did have a really nice game. You got some good pieces on the team. You're not out of it by a long shot. So good luck to you in your future weeks. Moving on to, you know what, we're going to save that one for last. Moving on to the next matchup. Much lower scoring in this one as Matt picks up another loss to Bill. Pretty wide margin, 117 for Bill, 288 for Matt. Bill goes to 5 and 3, so he joins that group of 5 and 3, and there's a lot of us. Matt falls to 2 and 6, and now is in a tie for last place. So not after winning last week. Matt can't stack some wins together. I mean, he continues to start Anthony Richardson, and I don't know why, because he once again had another shit game. Which now they're finally going back and benching him again. That's how bad he's been, and now Matt doesn't have a choice to start him anymore. So I guess that's good for
Remember,
Matt.
he's active, Matt. He's active,
Yeah,
Matt.
I mean, he did. Hey, first time this year, I think though he did put in a waiver claim. I believe it might be one of the first times I've seen him actually make a waiver move on Tuesday night into Wednesday. He picked up a quarterback. Wasn't the quarterback that I thought he was going to go after, but he
I
did give
mean,
up one. His Bears
I'm gonna
guys
shit
let him
on
down.
him.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish real quick. On Bill's side, he had a nice game from Allen. His running backs kind of just did below par. Amari Cooper had a rough game and is banged up. Olave, though, good sight for Bill. He made that trade for Olave, and that's a good sight. 14 targets, 18 points. McBride continued to do his thing. He did the two tight end strat, and it actually gets a win in this format. When both your tight ends score 21 and 29, you're probably going to win, and that's a good strat there from Bill because his wide receivers really let him down with 1.3 and 1.9 from Lockett. But the tight ends came up huge, and that was more than enough to beat Matt's team. Go ahead, Pusa. What did you want to say about this?
He has always said that, he didn't deserve to be kicked because he's going to be active this year. This him starting Anthony Richardson every week is just perfect evidence as to why I even put him on the ballot in the
Oh,
first
well, at
place.
least you're not
Oh, will
He's
you be
taking.
a
putting
At
him on the
least,
ballot again?
at least you're finally owning up instead of blaming me totally. I listen. I will come to Matt's defense here. He has made more trades this year than last year, And when I sent him a trade offer earlier this year, he did reply back telling me his thoughts, which is more than he did last year. So I get your point of he doesn't really seem to be caring too much about his lineup because he just, I don't want to say he's given up, but from the very beginning he's called his team ass and that his season's over. So I guess you have a point with saying you just keep starting shit Anthony Richardson instead of trying to improve. So I'll give you that. But I will come to his defense and say I think he has been a little more active this season than last season.
Pusa, will you be putting him on the ballot again next year to be kicked?
Absolutely.
Oh.
This guy is
Okay.
absolute scammer. He
Are you
Whoa.
tired of looking up at him?
He ain't looking up on him on
Okay.
the standings.
Geez, you have never seen me in person, and I've told you I'm
Oh.
5'9". So why don't you just
Tower
save
over
it
you.
into okay? Yeah, you fucking. Jew.
Also,
Anyway,
I forgot to
6.
mention it gets worse for Matt as Stephon Diggs is now out for the year, so that's just another injury blow to his
does
team.
he notice that happened?
Yeah, because he dropped him. So, like I said, he did make a move and drop him. I mean, we said it with Matt's team at the beginning of the season. It just does not look like he drafted very well this year. I mean,
I'll come
Andrews
clean
took
even
forever to
more.
get going. He took the Bears guys who weren't very good at the start of the season. He did make a good trade for Henry. We'll give him that. But he traded that, Cooper for
To our
Pittman at one
YouTube
point.
audience, I know we have one out there that watches every week. I appreciate the viewership every single week because
They
I know
don't watch
you're out
because
there.
of you, buddy.
No, they
Look,
watch
I-
every
I
week.
think-
There's got to be somebody out there that watches this shit in particular, at
Okay.
least, you know.
Okay.
But anyway,
What are you
to our
even talking
YouTube
about?
audience, this guy is a complete utter nut job. He's had to pay for fucking child support.
Whoa,
This guy
oh
is
my
a
God.
complete and utter nut job.
So what did he
Utter
do to
nut
you
job.
this past week to cause you to just start going off on him like this?
Nothing.
bringing up
But he
random shit?
talks out of his ass
Oh,
like he's
okay.
some big tough guy. He shows up to
Well,
a
he
fucking
wins all
bar
his
with a
bets.
fucking Ronaldo
When you win all your bets,
be.
when you win all your bets, Pusa, and are rich every day from betting, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you get that
Yeah,
arrogance.
who knows where that goes?
Pusa,
Fucking
Pusa,
blows
what do you
for
think
all I
about
know.
his chain?
His chain? I don't know how he even
Is
got
it real gold or silver? That's the real question.
I don't even
When
know
you
how he
saw
got
it,
with
did
the
it look
stripper.
like fake?
Like, oh, it's 100% fake.
Oh.
It looked like it
okay.
was off Temu.
Oh. All right, let's rein it back in here. All right,
Oh
anybody
my
want to make
God.
any more comments on this matchup?
Look, I said it. I think Matt gets cucked with Anthony Richardson being ass because he also had the Colts receivers, right? So
You
it kind of
think
tanked his whole
now he
team.
gets cut?
Well, maybe
he could have
Pittman's
realized
a little
that about
better.
He's
8
been.
weeks ago.
He's been.
Maybe Pittman
It's
gets a
not
little
been
better,
great.
but didn't he trade Cooper for Pittman at one point? Wasn't that the trade?
Amari Cooper has not been doing much better, if we're gonna be honest.
Well, I mean,
So-
he had a
You
good
know,
game
if
last
Rat
week, and
is
he'll
party,
be back.
Rat, go fucking trade him a quarterback, for God's sakes.
I tried.
Wow.
He doesn't-
Look. I think his team can be slightly better with Joe Flacco because Joe Flacco can actually throw the football.
I mean, he lost his best wide receiver, or one of his best wide receivers.
Look, I said slightly better.
Oh,
I didn't say a lot
So
better.
you're saying he can avoid dead last?
Maybe. I mean,
Okay.
he has the
I
best
think
running
this
back.
Diggs injury is gonna really put him
Yeah, the
in a
Diggs injury
close
is not
race
helpful.
for
It
last
is
now.
not. I think if Diggs was fully healthy,
If
he would
he
definitely be avoiding
if he was a
last
game
place.
or two ahead now with the Diggs injury, then I'd say he'd be okay. But the fact he's now tied for last, and
I
he's
think
got
he
the
does have help though that he has a lot more points for than Flaps.
He does have Coleman on the bench who had a nice game last week, so maybe that will save. If he can keep doing that, maybe that will save him. But and I mean Etienne, like God, that's just
And
a
then I
disaster.
was talking about Bill's team. 'Cause I don't
Okay,
think-
he's 5-3. He's looking decent.
He's looking decent.
I
but
mean,
he-
I like that trade he made for Olave. I think he
Olave's
bought
paying off
low
for
on
him.
Olave, and if he keeps doing this type of stuff, which there's no reason for him not to. There's nobody else on the Saints.
I think his
he's gonna
big
get a ton of
issue
targets.
is his running back too. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Gervonta had a nice game a couple
Well,
weeks
he's got
ago.
Mazin in there right
I
now.
mean, Gervonta gets a lot of targets from the backfield. From
I also
Bowen.
liked his Tillman pickup.
Yeah, I think
Very good
Bill's team is in a solid spot. I definitely think his team is a playoff team. I mean,
I
if he
think his
gets
big
Cooper
issue
back
is,
healthy, I think he's a playoff team for sure.
He's gonna have the issue that I had where he starting the wrong
I hope I play
quarterback.
him in the playoffs.
Oh, okay. So you disagree? You don't think his team is good?
Whoa, Pusa.
If you want to play.
I'm not saying that.
Well, you said you
Who
wanted
said
to
this
play him
might
in the
be your-
playoff.
Pusa, this might be your first time in the playoffs in like 5 years. Relax.
Jeez, you've been in the league for 2 years, and
Yeah,
and he
I
won
it
it
all.
last
fucking-
year.
Shut up, Jew.
He
Shut
won
up,
it
Jew.
last year.
Shut up, Jew. Shut up,
Pusa
Steve.
is on one tonight.
I like it. I like this energy. I like this.
Shut up, Steve.
Ring.
Okay, let's move on to the next matchup. Speaking of cheese and
Holocaust.
rings, he gets a huge win over Pook. Kind of takes him behind the woodshed. Second most points on the week, 169 to 123. I mean, where to kind of begin with Cheese's team? I guess you could say the only downside was Devontae Adams, which he's already shipped away. We'll talk about on trades in a second. But the Detroit running backs are an automatic 30 plus combined every week. I mean, that's got to be nice just to start two running backs and know you're getting 30 plus combined from them every week. Daniels obviously is continuing to look great as a rookie. Good draft pick there by Cheese.
Yeah, Caleb
Shakir
Williams
had a really
clearly
nice
not
game.
the best rookie.
Yeah,
quarterback.
I know Pook and Tyler have been trying to die on that hill, but it definitely for fantasy looks like Daniels is the clear guy, especially after their head-to-head this week, which really Pook or somebody should have took. Pook was trying to get bets on who had a better fantasy week between Caleb Williams and Daniels. Somebody should have bet him on that because that was free money.
Free money.
Zach, you didn't have enough faith in your boy apparently.
I didn't know he was trying to do that
Yeah,
bet. I would have been all over that shit.
he had mentioned it the week before to bet on who had better
He
fantasy.
was too much of a pussy because he could have just at me and I would have done it.
A-Chain looks to be back now with Tua, so that's a really good sign with 26 huge points. I mean, he started the right flex as well with Mooney. He switched that on the show last week. He had Bateman in there, and good thing he switched that even though it wouldn't have mattered. He still would have won. On Pook's side, decent score, 123, but nowhere near enough. As we said, Caleb Williams only 9.3 points, so he definitely did not start the right quarterback as he had two on the bench. That's the thing. Pook has three quarterbacks, so it's always going to be a little difficult on who to start each week. He had Hopkins that he got in a trade. He did not very much look involved. I'm sure he'll get more involved as the season goes on. Heck, this week against me, he'll probably get like 8 or 9 targets and pop off. It was his first game with the Chiefs, so you can't expect too much. Jefferson did his normal thing, McLaurin did his normal thing, and his running backs did really good to give him a chance early on, but his back half of his lineup let him down. So GG's to Cheese, your comments. Al, 6-2, back in first place. You have taken that back over. Your comments.
Great week. Literally everybody was trying to get A-Chain on the low, and I held firm. And now he's back.
Good
Looking
job
like a
on
solid running back. I finally got a kicker. Apparently, Seibert's the number one kicker. I don't know how that happened, but I finally have a good kicker after the terrible start to the year. And I got the MVP for my quarterback. So
I don't know about
He
MVP,
will be tearing
but-
his ACL.
Cheese more quarterbacks.
Wow, you want Jaden
Buddy,
Daniels to tore his ACL?
I'm talking about A-Chain.
No,
Oh,
okay.
So yeah, we're happy, and hopefully I get even more points when I shipped out that bum Devontae Adams.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute when we go over trades. All right. Moving on to the next matchup. Zach gets back in the win.
I had one more thing. Sorry.
No
What?
shot. Fuck you.
Real quick, I thought I was cooked because I've been playing Thursday night players the last month, and when Jefferson went for 20 on Thursday night, I thought I was cooked because everybody I play is Thursday night players.
Yep. All right, moving on to, as I said, Zach getting back in the win column with a huge win over Zombie, 125 to 113. Zach now at 4-4, and falls Zombie to 5-3 and out of first place. Zach had a huge game from Lemar and his running backs as well with J.K. all day and Jonathan Taylor back looking strong with 18.
All day.
Tyreek Hill still not that great, but he had 9 targets.
He's
so
getting there.
I don't know if he's back. He made that big proclamation on Twitter to start me, and he didn't really come through that big, but it was decent.
Won the game.
But the big story was Travis Kelce. He might be back with 25 huge points and 12 targets and 10 catches and a touchdown. The bottom half of Zach's lineup was very mediocre with Wandell with only 8 and Nick Chubb with only 5. But he had enough on the top half to get him past Zombie, who obviously with Dak Prescott not looking great.
Shit.
Breece Hall with a sub 10-point game as Braylon Allen scored the touchdown. You gotta hate to see that if you're Zombie. And Aaron Jones didn't do that much, and his wide receivers really let him down and probably were the difference. He had a nice game from Kupp on Thursday night to get him started, but Puka got a ton more targets, so we'll see if that's going forward. what happens. And then Drake London had a very bad game for once this
Well, because
season.
my Darnell Mooney took all the targets.
Yeah. So, Zombie, 5-3, nothing to be too concerned about. But there is some holes in this lineup of zombies that aren't very consistent. Dak Prescott being one of them. Some of his wide receivers, a little bit inconsistent. Brian Thomas picked up an injury. We'll see if he misses any time. But Zach, big win for you this season to keep you at 4-4, right in the mix. Your comments after beating Zombie.
Easy dub.
Easy dub. Okay. All right. Moving on then to the next matchup of last week, we had Pusa versus Tyler. This was also a pretty high scoring matchup, and unfortunately for Tyler, he scores 135 points but loses to Pusa 155 to 135, falls to 2-6 in that tie for last place. But the 135 will definitely help his points for between those three. Pusa continues to roll now, 5-3. Another big week for Pusa. His team is looking very, very good. Hurts. All of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, Hurts has turned into a rushing touchdown machine with another 3 TDs on the ground to go along with what he did last week against me. Rachaad White had a nice game, who he started over Irving, so that was a good start there. Pollard had an okay game. Chase and Brown did their normal things. Tucker Kraft, who he traded for Rat, had another nice game and a touchdown. He's looking like a sneaky good pickup that he got for the cheap from Rat. Zay Flowers had a nice game, although he shipped him out now. He did start Waddle, who didn't do much. Other than that, pretty solid performance from Pusa's team. On Tyler's side, he had a big game. He picked up Bo Nix. Picked him up and started him and got 29 huge points from Bo Nix.
Sorry,
Great game
don't want
for
to
him.
get
What?
banned, but nope, don't want to get you banned.
Okay. And Joe Mixon had a nice game, but he had to start Singletary as a second running back, and that's a problem for Tyler's team as Singletary is losing his starting job. St. Brown had a bad game as well, as the Lions blew them out and didn't really have to use St. Brown. Harrison, though, we picked up, had a nice, in a trade last week, had a nice week, so that's good for Tyler. Tyler's wide receivers aren't horrible. The biggest question mark for Tyler was he traded for Puka Nacua, who got 18, and then he didn't even start him. He put Christian Kirk in.
Would he have won?
Yes,
I
he
know.
did.
No,
he
he
did.
wouldn't have won because it was only a difference of 11 points, and he lost by 20. So he wouldn't have won, but it would have been closer. And at the start of the week on Thursday, while we're watching Puka Nacua just go off for 9 targets and 100 yards, everyone's thinking, what in the hell, Tyler? Why would you trade for the guy and then not even put him in over Christian Kirk? I mean, Puka tried to come to his defense. We never even heard from Tyler. He never even commented on why he didn't start Puka Nacua. Puka commented and tried to stick up for him and say, well, Puka was supposed to be limited step, so he was scared. I would rather start a limited step Puka Nacua over Christian Kirk, who has just been complete ass this year and a bust. But now he doesn't have to worry about, because Kirk's now injured and probably done for a long time. So now he doesn't have a choice, and he'll start Puka Nacua going forward. So I guess that's good for Tyler. Comments though, Pusa, after your big win, once again your team performs very nicely and is at 5-3, looking very solid.
I don't know what's going to be a more disappointing loss, this week for Tyler or next Tuesday.
Shut up, Pusa. You jinx everything. Shut up. Don't talk about it.
Ooh, okay.
What's happening next Tuesday?
GG, you won, Pusa. Yeah.
The NFL trade deadline is next Tuesday.
Zach, use your brain, buddy. Use your brain.
Zach
The fuck is Tuesday?
Zach's a non-voter. So of course he
Zach.
doesn't know.
Zach.
Oh,
Zach,
buddy,
you-
I already bet. I bet.
You bet? Did you vote?
He's
I
the
bet.
whole thing he's saying is Tyler's gonna be disappointed when Kamala wins. That's what he's
Oh,
Will
who's-
win.
Jesus.
Oh,
We
who said
let have to
that?
spell it out for you. You can't understand what he was
Jesus
saying.
Christ. Go fuck yourself.
You're forgetting Pusa's a huge liberal Democrat
FF.
Kamala fan
I'm not
somehow.
a huge liberal.
Yes.
Okay.
If you're rooting
Sorry,
for
YouTube
Kamala, if you're publicly rooting for Kamala, you are a big liberal. I'm sorry. There's nobody in their right
liberal.
mind that isn't
Aaron Judge
liberal
home run.
that's rooting for Kamala. But anyways, moving on past
Big
politics.
liberal.
Anything else you want to say, Pusa, on your win?
Well, my last minute and a half might boost your YouTube video by about 50 views, but
I'm not in it for
Nobody watched
the
it,
view
please.
I
clout,
wish Pusa
but
didn't come tonight.
thank you, I guess. Okay, moving on then, if we're done with that. To the final matchup of the week, we saved the best for last. Is Rat here? I haven't heard him talk in forever.
I'm here.
He's in
Okay.
depression. He's in
Talk
depression.
about it.
I guess he's in depression.
Talk about it.
As Slaps
Fired up.
gets the upset and pretty kind of easily, 108 to 91. Slaps only scores 108 points, but gets a much-needed victory over Rat, who at the start of the week said if he lost to Slaps, he would nuke everything. I don't know if he's going to do that, but he's already made one trade today. 4-4 now for Rat. After starting out pretty decent this season, the Christian McCaffrey injury is starting to reap the downfall a little bit, as he could use McCaffrey, as some of his other players are not performing that great. But Slaps, everyone ruled him last week dead. He came in the show with the most depression 30-minute rant we've ever seen on how everyone on his team is shit, how he's lost everything. I mean, he also fire-sailed like half his good players that were left that all popped off after he traded Laporta and Harrison away. Yet it still didn't matter, because despite all that, he still gets a win this week over Rat and is now right in a tie for last place at 2-6. He made the game up on Matt and Tyler, so a huge win for him this week to level even. I guess the standouts for Ramondre Stevenson getting 23.5 points. He actually started him, so that's good news. He traded for Chuba Hubbard, which didn't do too much. I don't like that trade at all. Pook finally found somebody to take Chuba off his hands. Keenan Allen as well. Pook finally found somebody to take Keenan Allen and Cortland Sutton, who had a nice game. But he traded away Laporta and started Noah Fant, which ain't good. He got Pickens, who I do like Pickens in the long run. And Najee Harris had another nice game, so I'll give him credit with Najee, keeping Najee all this time. So kind of a mixed bag from Slaps, but it was more than enough to beat Rat's team. And I guess we start with Jordan Love getting injured during the game, so he only got 5 points. That really let him down. His running backs just did okay, as he traded for Connor, who did all right. Brian Robinson, not great. Smith, it was looking rough in the beginning, but then he came alive to give Rat a chance with 20 huge points. He had to start Romeo Dobbs, who only got 10. Bowers had his one bad game of the year with only 5 targets and 10 points. Rat's hoping that doesn't continue, because if that continues, Rat might be struggling. He had to also start Jason McMillan. And then, of course, as I said, Rat's really missing McCaffrey, as Jordan Mason has crashed way down to earth. It seems like every week now he's getting banged up on the ground and then sitting on the sidelines for the whole rest of the game now, and costing Rat a lot of points that he could be getting if he just had McCaffrey in there. All right, Rat, I guess we'll start with you here. You made a lot of the last month you have been really shitting on Slaps' team and his fantasy knowledge, ripping him almost every week on how bad his team is, and yet somehow you lose to him. And he traded away Harrison and Laporta, or this could have been worse. If he would have kept them this week, he would have blew you out by even more, because both of them had 20-point games. So your comments after losing this one to Slaps.
Slaps' team is back. He's got an RB1 in Stevenson, a wide receiver 1 in Sutton, RB2 Najee Harris. But I'm going to actually shit on my team, because fuck them. T. Higgins decided to not be a baby and not play before the game started. Mason, they said he was good after halftime, then he just stayed on the sidelines the whole game. Yeah. So fuck you, and thank you, Jordan Love. You at least tried. But yeah, my team let me down.
Okay.
Fuck those 3.
All right.
But yeah, I need CMC and Nico back, or I'm in trouble.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a little bit of a panic there, which we'll
I need them back.
Talk about in a bit. Okay. All right. Anybody else want to make any comments on this big upset by Slaps? Does he have a chance to avoid last place?
No.
He's tied for last with 2 other people.
He has the least points for Tyler's team.
Okay, and he's tied with them, so all he's got to do is win, and they lose, and points for won't matter.
Better.
Okay.
Matt's team is slightly better. Rat's team is falling. Everybody's hurt. I don't know what's going on over there.
I mean, his team name says it all. It's Bowers and Friends. If Bowers doesn't go, then Rat's team doesn't go at the moment.
And then it's gonna be really funny when CMC comes back, and then he's in the medical tent at halftime.
Do not say that, buddy.
Wow.
That's fucked
Might be taking another trip to Germany. Oh boy. All right.
Rat's gonna go to Germany at this point.
Oof.
See him again.
I'm gonna fucking go to CMC's house and find out what the hell's going on.
Oh my God, Judge!
Buddy,
just
you
hit a
saw
fucking
what's
nuke.
going on. His girlfriend is.
So you 20 minutes behind?
Tuesday,
I
you're
already
like
said
30
that.
minutes behind.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so
Wait,
after
what the fuck? The baseball game is on?
yes,
Yeah, 3-0
I thought it
after
wasn't
those
off then.
after those matchups, here's a look at the standings. Cheese, as I said, back in front, our defending champ at 6-2. You figure he really only needs about 1 or 2 more wins, probably just 1 more win, and he probably gets a playoff spot, so he's in great position right now. Then we have a whole slew at 5-3, starting with Pusa, Zombie, Pook, Bill, and myself, all at 5-3, currently in safe playoff positions at the moment. Zach, if it ended today, would be that final playoff spot at the 4-4s, as he has more points for by about 7 points over Rat. At 4-4 as well. Then Ernie, all alone in himself at 3-5. He's got some work to do moving forward.
That is not me laughing. That is Pusa laughing.
That was kind of a crushing loss for him last week, as he really needed that win. But he's not out of it yet. Still,
Damn it!
Gotta
God,
get some wins
man.
going together. Then we have the 2-6s, as I said. It's hard to imagine that Ernie is only 1 win ahead of last place at the moment. That's got to be a little scary to be 3-5, that close to these 3 shitter teams. Tyler,
look, here's
Matt,
what I'm gonna say.
Slaps.
Ernie cannot finish last place just because the points for.
I mean, he can finish last place.
He will not drop.
If he loses a couple games and these guys win, I know you're talking about points for right now, but points for only matters if you're tied in record. So you can talk about the points for right now, but the points for does not mean shit right now. It only means something towards the last couple games of the year if you're tied in record. There's still plenty of weeks left where if he loses a bunch and they all win, they can jump him, and then the points for would not matter. I'm not saying Ernie's going to finish in last, because I think his team is way better than those other teams, and he'll get some wins to keep him safe. But at the moment, you're only 1 game ahead of that dreaded last place tie that you do not.
Anybody could finish in last place.
Yes, they could. They could. Even the 5-3s could. So we'll see what happens. Moving forward with that. Real quickly looking at waivers for this past week. There was a little bit of action. Starting with myself, paying $17 all my lonesome on Matthew Stafford. Quite a bit of an overpay as nobody else bid, but I was worried that Zombie or Matt, I knew they both were probably needing a quarterback. I thought Zombie would want Stafford since he has Kupp and his other quarterbacks are kind of ass. And then I really thought Matt was going to want Stafford because he doesn't have a quarterback. But neither of them apparently did. So I will take Stafford, who had a nice game last week and has his wide receivers fully back. And I need a quarterback this week with Purdy on bye. So I'm willing to overpay, I guess, just to ensure I got him. Then we had Slabs picking up Gabe Davis for $10. Nobody else bid. Rat picking up Garendo for $10. Nobody else bid. I mean, these, yeah, they're overpays, but does it really matter at this stage with Fab? I don't really think so. There's only so many weeks left, and there's not going to be much left on the waivers here pretty soon. Matt did, as I said, make a move on waivers. He got Kirk Cousins, so he did pick up a quarterback. I was worried he was going after Stafford, but he didn't go after Stafford. He goes after Kirk Cousins instead for $5. You can have Kirk. I think Stafford will be better moving forward, but we'll see. Darius Slayton for $4 from Rat. I picked up a kicker and Jake Elliott for this week since my kicker Boswell is on bye. Tyler gets Parker Washington and drops Bo Nix. It's interesting.
Why would he drop Bo Nix?
I would pick up Bo Nix this week. I feel like at one point this year I have to play Bo Nix considering what my team name is, and I really wish it would be this week since my Purdy's on bye. The problem is he's playing the Ravens at Ravens, and that
the Ravens don't play defense?
Yeah, but I feel like they're going to after getting exposed last week. And it just feels like the type of game to me where Bo has a horrible game after having some good games in a row. And the Ravens are probably pissed off that their defense has been so bad. I mean, Harbaugh said we're going to figure it out on defense. So something tells me they're really going to focus this week on defense, on shutting down the Broncos. And I don't think it's that hard to shut down the Broncos offense if you just stop the short game. So I don't think I can pick up Bo Nix and start him. I think Stafford is the much better play against the Seattle defense, who's also very bad. But I wish I could pick up Bo Nix just for 1 week. We'll see. Bill picks up a wide receiver from Carolina. Don't really care. And Michael Wilson was picked up for Tyler from $0 as well. So that was waivers. Looking real quick at trades for this past week. We'll go through these quickly. Last week, after Thursday, as we talked about, the fire sale of Slaps started as he traded Kirk and Harrison to Tyler for Hopkins and Pickens. I didn't mind this trade too much as I like Pickens with Russell Wilson. And Hopkins was decent shout for Kansas City moving forward. And Harrison, yeah, he's had some good games, but he's also had some bad ones. So I didn't really mind this trade from Slaps. Anybody want to make any quick comments? You can jump in, or I'm just going to keep going.
Yes,
Hopkins
quick
didn't last
comment.
long.
I have a quick comment,
Hopkins
actually.
lasted about 2 seconds.
My comment is Cheese, stream the baseball game. Thank you. Cheese, stream the baseball game.
That's not
No,
a...
you have access to Aaron.
Okay, what were you saying, Rat?
Buddy, there's no fucking shot. Just
I
show
said
us this shit,
Hopkins
so we're all
lasted-
watching at the same time.
Okay, Zach. Hopkins lasted about 5 seconds on that team.
Yeah, which, I mean, based on how his first game went, it's not horrible. But yeah, then looking at the next trade, he then also fire sailed away Sam Laporta after his giant rant last week about Sam Laporta and how he's just shit. He's just shit. Doesn't matter what you say about him. Doesn't matter that Jamison Williams is suspended. Doesn't matter about anything because he's just shit, according to Slaps. Well, he wasn't shit this past weekend as he had a very nice game. He also traded away Hopkins.
As you predicted.
Yes, as I was trying to tell him last week, as he's calling him shit, there's a change in the dynamic. Last year, they didn't have a good Jamison Williams. He was the second target option. What is the same type of scenario now this season? They don't have Jamison Williams, or he's not there, so maybe Laporta is going to get the uptick. I tried to make some logic there to Slaps, and all I got was he's just shit. He's just shit. Well, you traded him away for Keenan Allen, Courtland Sutton, and Hubbard. I will say it's not a horrible return. At least he's getting some able bodies that he can start each week. The problem is they're all kind of, I don't want to say boom or bust, but they're all kind of like either single digits or big games. And two of them this past week had bad games, and Allen and Hubbard. Sutton had a nice game. I don't know. I think I'd much rather have Laporta and the future of Hopkins. I think if I'm Slaps and I trade for Hopkins, I want to hold him for a couple weeks and see what he does on Kansas City before I just instantly turn around and trade him. But that's just me. Moving on to Cheese and Pusa. They did a deal after a much long debate of another deal being accepted and then vetoed by the league. Zay Flowers goes to Cheese, who was a little bit banged up, and Cheese ships off Davante Adams. So Pusa finally gets his beloved Davante Adams to 2-6 New York Jets Aaron Rodgers. I think this trade's pretty even. I do like Zay Flowers as a target guy. The problem is now they traded for another wide receiver as well, so we'll see how many if he keeps getting a good amount of targets.
But according to Josina Anderson, golfer,
yeah,
he's going to keep the same role.
Yeah, well, we'll
She's
see.
right.
We'll see about that. I do still like Zay Flowers, though. I think he'll have some good weeks. The problem is, I think he's going to be very, like he's been all season, very boom or bust. He's either getting a single-digit 5-point game or he's getting the 19, 18, big game. I don't think there's like a consistent 10-point plus from Zay Flowers. Although, it's not like he's given up much because Davante Adams in his first 2 weeks as a Jet hasn't really looked very good at all.
Have not been good.
So I don't really think he's, taken too much of a gamble.
I would rather have the league MVP thrown to my player.
That is true.
Than washed old Cave of Darkness Aaron Rodgers on MDMA.
Yes. The good news for me is it still looks like Garrett Wilson gets his targets and his catches. It doesn't look like Adams is the number one wide receiver.
I did not want. I saw 2 weeks ahead.
Now it could change. Maybe Adams picks it up.
But I just don't want to be part of it.
Yeah, obviously we know Pusa's affection with Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. Pusa, go ahead. Your comments you'd like to make on this?
There isn't much to say other than the first trade should have went through.
Okay.
That's not how typically a league works, but if that's the case, that's fine. I'm still happy with the trade that I made.
Okay. Yes, Rat?
No comment from Rat.
No, Rat can comment.
He was involved in the trade.
Okay. He seems to blame. Who are you blaming for that first trade not going through? Pook and Rat?
3 of us.
And
Me,
Ernie?
Pook, and Ernie.
Okay.
I blame Pook. I blame Ernie. I blame Rat. I blame Zach.
Oh.
Because he just sucks on his dick.
Shit.
Did Zach veto it as well?
Let me tell you
because
something.
Ernie vetoed it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Cheese is going to be glad we vetoed the first one because we saved Cheese.
You know, everyone saved Cheese last year in a trade, and then he ends up winning the league. You're saying we did it again? Well, you
We've
guys.
made
I
the
didn't
same
veto it.
case
I approved.
because Zay Flowers is better than Deontay Johnson. He's still going to be better than the Ravens offense. Devontae Adams is shit. Devontae Adams is garbage. And
You know, Rat, you seem to be right on everything. That's why you're just not high in the ranking in the standings right now. But hey,
well, Pusa, good job
Wow.
after finally doing
Some
something
shots
in the
being
past 2
fired
years.
back and forth here. Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So
Cheese
you like
won the
this trade for Cheese?
Yes.
All right. Cheese, your comments.
I'm happy with this trade.
Okay. I mean,
Look,
a quick turnaround from Adams, though. A couple weeks ago, you were saying how Aaron Rodgers is going to dick suck him targets, and now 2 weeks later, you're shipping him out.
Look, I saw the games. He still clearly loves Wilson. Devontae Adams looked kind of not as great as he used
Wilson
to be.
is young and good, and Adams is just getting up there.
I thought Aaron Rodgers would just.
We act like fucking Adams didn't drop 30 with Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, but Gardner Minshew has no one else to throw the ball to.
He doesn't have Garrett Wilson.
I mean, Adams. I think Adams will have one or a couple big games,
I think
like
Adams
a 20-point game.
Look, my rationale is I saw it.
But he's not going to get the targets.
In my mind, he didn't have the upside that I liked.
Okay.
Zay Flowers will get thrown to by the MVP, and obviously he'll have some lower weeks. But I think he has more capacity to pop off and get those like 100-yard games, and like in multiple, I think he has better capacity because when the Ravens are popping off, Lamar's throwing touchdowns everywhere.
Okay.
And the Jets are they lost to the Patriots. They're struggling to get much going.
Yeah, that's a big yikes. All right.
And there are really little problems we have with the trade because when Pusa put Zay Flowers and Deontay Johnson on the block, Cheese didn't even go after the starter. He went after a bench option. That's where I viewed the trade as bad. And Pusa pitched.
Oh God, these Yankees are hitting.
Game 6.
That's all I'm saying.
He might kill himself.
Okay. I'm just saying, though, at some point you got to let the manager make the mistake. If they just want to settle for Deontay Johnson and not try to get more, then that's on that person.
Yes, but
I don't think that just means you got to veto it because they could have gotten more. I mean, that's part of trading.
I just think it wasn't a fair trade.
Well, I will say this. A lot of people were like, I want Devontae Adams. So
that was early.
Yeah, well. So you didn't shop them around first. You just took the
first
deal you got.
I did get some offers, but they're all shit. So.
Okay, well, fair enough.
About Ernie saying canceled, you're allowed to do that. You're allowed to cancel.
Yes, and Pusa has done that many times, telling someone to cancel so they can negotiate. Now, just because he may not actually try to seriously negotiate with the person, you still told him to cancel so you could give him a better deal, supposedly.
We came to an agreement. Everybody's happy.
It doesn't sound like Pusa's that happy, but...
Pusa said he was happy, so...
Okay. All right, and then the final trade that happened today, another one between Cheese, been active this week at 6-2. I'm surprised he's been making this many trades. With Rat, Jordan Love is shipped out after his game last week. Jonathan Brooks, who I don't think is going to do much this season. I think he's a future, next season or the season after type of player. I don't think he's going to be involved much this season, but that's just my opinion. And McMillan, who had about 9 points this past week, did have the targets, though. And for Kyler Murray and Jaylen Warren, it's interesting. I may be one of the minority. I like this trade for Rat much more than Cheese. I think Jaylen Warren is getting more and more usage as the weeks go on and as he's healthy and is looking better and better. I'm not going to say he's going to totally take Najee's job because Najee has a certain role, but he is going to get more checkdowns and more targets, and for PPR, I think he's going to end up being the better Pittsburgh running back in the future. That's my opinion. And Kyler Murray, who just had a pretty nice game. I know Cheese is getting quarterback back, so he still has a second option in Jordan Love. But yeah, I think there's a little more upside for Rat in this trade than there is for Cheese. That's my opinion. Rat, your comments on this deal?
I just wanted a new quarterback, Kyler Murray, and I mean, you can make the argument between Brooks and Warren, but yeah, and then I pay McMillan. He'll be a solid flex option, but I wanted the quarterback, better quarterback.
All right, and Cheese, your comments?
This point in the season, I'm looking for some upside guys. Anyone who can pop off. With waivers kind of being dead. And, I have a good QB1. Jordan Love is good when he's healthy, so it's not like I got like a bum back or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Chuba has been not great recently. Brooks got a full practice in today, so I'm just gambling here, seeing
Okay.
if
Fair
these
enough.
guys can turn into some good flex options for me.
Yeah.
Because for my Warren is like he's all right, but the Steelers running back, their running defense schedule gets a lot harder after this. And Najee obviously is number one, and then with Brooks, he was not looking great, and obviously they drafted him to start him if he's fully healthy. I think he'll get some run, so we'll see. But
Okay.
they don't work out. I mean, I'm just getting a different backup quarterback, so it's not really a big deal for me.
Alrighty. Fair enough. All right. So that being said, with all the trades, let's take a look at the Week 9 slate. Starting with my big matchup versus Pook. Battle of 5 and 3s here. 5 and 3 me versus 5 and 3 Pook. It's going to probably be a decent one. Right now, Sleeper has me projected to win, but Pook does not have a kicker in there. So once he puts a kicker in, he'll be slightly projected to be leading. Pook has Sam Darnold against the Colts on Sunday Night Football. So decent matchup there against the Colts. Bijan against Dallas. Dallas defense not that great, and Bijan's been hot lately, so should be another nice game for him. Jacobs against Detroit. We'll see how that works. Jefferson against the Colts as well, so 2 Sunday Night Football players. Terry McLaurin against the Giants should be pretty decent. Ferguson against Atlanta. Hopkins in there on Monday night, so he does have a Monday night player against Tampa Bay. Laporta in there, so he's going with the 2 tight end strat after Bill gets a victory with it last week. We'll see if Pook can do the same. Newly acquired Laporta against Green Bay should be pretty good. I expect Green Bay Lions to be a decent offensive game. On my side, I have obviously Stafford this week against Seattle with Purdy on bye. Cook versus Miami. Chase Brown against the Raiders should be decent. CeeDee Lamb after his monster game last week against Atlanta this week. Atlanta is a better defense, so I don't expect him to come anywhere close to 39, but it should be a safe floor 15 plus for CeeDee most likely. Garrett Wilson to get me started tomorrow night against Houston. Could there be any signs of life in the Jets offense? Tough game for them against Houston, who's a good team. Hopefully he can still just get his points that he's been getting with the catches. Kincaid on Sunday against the Dolphins. Hunt on Monday night, so we both have a Monday night player. We'll see if it comes down to that. And then Christian Watson in at the moment against Detroit. It's a big game for the Packers against Detroit if they want to try to win the division, so maybe Watson can burn one deep for a long touchdown. We'll see. Obviously, Debo's on bye. And Evans is still out hurt. Obviously, I'm going to pick myself, but it is going to be a close matchup. Hopefully, after my team scored a shit ton last week, hopefully they don't all come crashing down to earth. Hopefully, some of them still put up some decent points. Gonna need at least about 120 plus to beat Pukas. He's got a solid lineup this week, and hopefully I can get it done like 130 to 125, somewhere in there on Monday night. Hopefully Hunt can get another couple touchdowns and be the difference. My Monday night luck this year has actually not been bad for once. I've won quite a few games this season on Monday night, so maybe we can get it down to that, and hopefully that happens. Cheese, who's winning this matchup?
A close one, because boy, did beat Pook. He had a pretty good week otherwise.
Holy fuck,
I'm thinking, this is a close one, Zach. Relax.
You want me to come back?
No. I'm gonna take Golfer to win.
Oh, okay,
Because
interesting.
I said last week we got second half Cowboys where they they win some games, they lose some games, but they stat pad.
Yeah, well,
James Cooks is really gonna be needed. This to be Dolphins obviously not a great record, but it's gonna be I think a high scoring game. Stafford's gonna do I think great against Seattle. Kareem Hunt is gonna have a big game. I feel like. And I mean, Pook's got a solid team. I feel like the Vikings are kind of slowing down a bit.
okay.
And DeAndre Hopkins, like I think he still needs another week to get in
And
their
I'm worried
offense.
about Hopkins, though, because he wasn't used much last weekend, so I think they're going to ramp up his usage.
We'll see.
But
We'll see.
hopefully I can dodge it for 1 week, and then in the future he starts to take off. All right, Rat, who's winning?
I'm gonna say Pook.
Okay.
Because I like his matchups a lot more this week. Because I like that Vikings and Colts game. I think that could be a sneaky shootout with Joe Flacco, new quarterback. So that could Darnold forcing Jefferson the ball a lot. And then you got Bijan versus Dallas. I think he finally performs big this year.
All right.
Jacobs and Laporta in the same game. I think that's a shootout between them two. And then Terry McLaurin gives him his normal 15 to 20.
All right. Pusa.
I see this as a very, very close matchup. Both 5-3. Man. I'm going to have to pick Pook here in a close one.
Okay. And Zach.
Plan.
Me and Pook.
Over.
Okay. All right, moving on to the next matchup. We have Rat at 4-4 after his tough loss against Slaps versus Bill, who's on a bit of a roll at 5-3. At the moment, Sleeper projecting Bill to eke one out 114 to 112. He has Baker Mayfield on Monday night against the 7-0 Chiefs. Interesting. So he's benching Allen against Miami for this week.
No, he's not. Did the same thing 2 weeks.
Oh, no, didn't he started Baker a couple weeks ago?
Nope, not against me. He had Baker in the lineup until last minute, then he changed him.
All right. Well, I know he probably likes the Monday night, but I would lean Allen. But we'll see what he does. Kenneth Walker against the Rams should be pretty good, as the Rams do not play much defense. Madison in there against Cincinnati, so he's benching Javonte Williams this week against Baltimore. Jacoby Myers, another Raider in there against Cincinnati, so he's got to hope that's a decent game. Olave in there against Carolina should be very good. McBride against Chicago. Cade Otton, so he's the two tight end method worked last week, so he's sticking with it. On Monday night against Kansas City, newly picked up Cedric Tillman against the Chargers, now with a competent quarterback in there, and James Winston should be decent, although the Chargers defense is sneaky good. And then Reichard, the Minnesota guy, on Sunday night. On Rat's side, newly acquired Kyler Murray in there against Chicago over C.J. Stroud tomorrow night against the Jets, huh? Interesting decision there. I guess no Diggs and no Nico probably leans into that decision. But the Bears' defense ain't horrible. James Conner as well, so now he's got the Murray-Conner mini stack. Brian Robinson against the Giants. Devontae Smith against Jacksonville should be good. T. Higgins, assuming he plays. I guess we'll see, as Rats already called him a pussy for last week. We'll see if that pussy plays this week against the Raiders. You want him to play because that's a good matchup. Bowers against Cincinnati as well. Goddard. So it's two tight end strat versus two tight end strat this week with Goddard against Jacksonville. Dobbs still in there in the flex, and Hopkins against the Chargers. And Jordan Mason's on bye, so he doesn't have to worry about him getting hurt and standing on the sidelines. This is very interesting matchup here. I think if I'm really surprised with some of Bill's lineup decisions, but then Rat has some problems in the back end with Dobbs and Goddard. He really needs Nico back. They're both starting. They both have QB decisions. I'm going to say whoever starts the correct QB this week is going to win this matchup. We'll find out tomorrow how CJ Stroud does. I'm going to take Rat in a bounce back victory, but in a very close. I think this is going to be a little bit lower scoring, like 110 to 105 type of matchup. But I'm going to say Rat gets a bounce back win that is much needed, but in a close one. Cheese, who's winning?
Bill, and it will not be close.
And it will not be close. Wow.
Nope. Rat is going for the two tight end strat. But Dallas Goedert is not going to get targeted because Jalen Hurts is doing that thing where like Saquon's like, give me the ball, Jalen, and Jalen's like, nope, my ball. No one else gets it. T. Higgins might not even play. B-Rob looks like he's hurt. Dubes without Jordan Love is questionable.
Monday, buddy.
Rat has some question mark. I mean, if his wide receivers, if any of them are out, he's got to probably start Slayton. So that's There's some questions. If T. Higgins doesn't play, I'm definitely going to change mine to Bill.
And then, I think Bill, I don't know if he starts the right quarterback. I don't know if it matters. I like the Olave play this week a lot. I like Kadon is like the number one wide receiver over there, so
Yes.
we saw that. Tillman,
That was a
I
good
really like
pickup.
because Jim Winston can actually, throw the football.
Yeah.
Um,
I will give Bill
so
some credit. He's made some good waiver pickups the last few weeks that kind of went under the radar, but now they're looking like pretty decent pickups with their situations. All right. Pusa, who's winning?
This is going to be a fucking ass whooping, and when I mean an ass whooping, he's going to have to go get his ass examined after this week. The Fabulous Foes are going to give Brock Bowers and friends a total ass raping.
Wow, that's two people saying Bill, and it's not going to be close. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, interesting. I think
he's going to need a
close.
prostate exam. He's going to need a prostate exam.
Wow. Oh my God. All right, Zach, who's winning?
Who's playing?
Bill and Rat.
Who's saying?
Cheese and Pusa both predicted Bill to blow out Rat. And quote, a ass raping that he's going to need a prostate exam.
Hey, I didn't say that. That
okay,
was not
Pusa
me.
said that.
What did fake Rat say?
Rat picks last because it's his own matchup. Just make a pick. Or say your tie. Thank you. All right. And Rat, some strong comments against you this week after that loss to Slaps. Are you going to get a bounce back this week? That's
me and Bill will tie.
Whoa. You're not even predicting yourself to win? Oh, God, it's that bad?
Kick him to the league.
I'll be back next week with Nico and hopefully CMC.
Oh.
But yeah, I'm not back till next week. I'll see you next week.
All right. Well, it sounds like you're conceding a loss. Why are you saying a tie?
What a fucking
vote kick. Rat, get Anthony.
I'll see you next week.
All right. How rough it has turned for Rat this season. Oh, boy. All right. Moving on to the next matchup. This is also a huge matchup. At the bottom of the standings, 2-6 Matt versus 2-6 Slaps. Cheese was talking all about the points for. Well, this is a matchup that would make the points for not matter. If Slaps can pull off another win against Matt, he jumps him in the standings, and then the points for don't matter. So we'll see what happens. Right now, Matt predicted to win 108-102, but a lower scoring prediction. Matt has Kirk Cousins that he picked up against Dallas. Derrick Henry, of course, against Denver. Denver's defense hasn't been bad, but Henry, will get his normal probably. DeAndre Swift against Arizona. The Bears looking for a bounce-back victory after that Hail Mary. DJ Moore as well. Arizona's defense has not been good. He gets Keenan Coleman in there after his big games against Miami. Not bad. Mark Andrews has been looking better recently against Denver. Addison against the Colts and Pittman against Minnesota. So you got the two guys on Sunday night, and McPherson against the Raiders. On Slaps' side, Joe Burrow against the Raiders should be pretty good. I mean, the Bengals, they're in like must-win every single game mode, and they get a good matchup this week against the Raiders that they should win. Hubbard against the Saints. We'll see how he looks. Stevenson after his monster game against Tennessee. That game's either going to be a shootout or it's going to be just a complete slugfest, ugly game. We'll see. For Slaps aside, he's hoping for a shootout. Keenan Allen, so the Bears wide receivers battle off. Who will have more, DJ Moore for Matt or Keenan Allen for Slaps? Sutton in there again against Baltimore. Hawkinson, assuming, he should be back this week, Sunday night against the Colts. So we'll see how he looks in comparison to Addison. Does he steal some of Addison's points, maybe? We'll see how he looks in his first game back, though. Is always a little risky. Tolbert against Atlanta and Downs after his big game with Flacco back in there should be a decent play. They both have a lot of Sunday night players. So it'll be an interesting matchup on Sunday night. It'll probably come down to that. And Koo against Dallas. This is a good week for Slaps from the standpoint of he's got a lot of guys on bye, so he doesn't have very many lineup decisions to make where he could make the wrong one. Do I want to predict an upset here for Slaps? You know what? I am going to say Slaps sneaks another one out here, like another 108 to 100 type of matchup. I don't really like Matt's quarterback choice. His Bears players are okay, but are they going to put up enough? I don't know about Addison and Pittman. I mean, it's Downs versus Pittman. I mean, there's so many comparisons with Addison and Hockenson, Downs versus Pittman, the Bears wide receivers versus each other. It really just comes down to who has the better games in those games. I'm gonna say Slap somehow sneaks out another one here that he probably doesn't deserve, but he somehow gets.
Wow.
Jeez.
Matt will dominate this matchup.
Okay.
Dallas versus Atlanta is going to be a slugfest. Kirk Cousins might throw for 400 yards.
Okay.
I hate Slap's running backs. Cuba's been down. He's been not great recently. Tennessee has a really good run defense. Keenan Allen, I don't believe in Keenan Allen at all.
Yeah, Tennessee had a great run defense last week against the Lions.
Well, usually they do. Okay, but the Lions are different because the Lions are like the best team in the league. So.
Okay.
And Ramondre is a lot different than Gibbs and Monty. Sutton, boomer bust. Hawk is the first week back, but I'm not going to expect too much. Yeah, I think Matt's team's a little more solid, and I think Derrick Henry he has the big advantage there.
Okay. Rat.
Oh boy. I mean,
You made a prediction about Slaps earlier. Just keep that in mind.
did. I fucked up. I mean, obviously Slaps team's back, but like I'm not trying to be mean anymore, and I'm just saying, how the hell did I lose to this team? Like it doesn't even look like this team could be in a 32-man league. I think like, who do you pick first in the draft?
Christ.
How did I lose to that?
He traded away all the players he took in the first 5 rounds. What do you mean?
need like 64 people in the league to have this kind of team. Like,
this is what happens when you trade away all your top picks, or they all get hurt, and then you panic trade them away. Like you're not left with any first round picks.
If Matt does not win this week, Matt will have a lot of shit talk next week on the show about gearing up for last place. I'm picking Matt to win.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Pusa. We know
this is my boy Matt's week to shine.
Okay.
I cannot believe it. Yeah, this is going to be the lowest scoring matchup of the week, obviously.
Okay.
But Matt just simply has a better team.
Okay. And Zach.
Tie.
Okay.
They're
All right.
so bad.
All right, moving on to the next one. Cheese at the top of the mountain at 6-2 versus Ernie, who desperately needs a win at 3-5. Will he get one?
Can I go first?
Tough. Yes, go ahead.
Ernie.
Okay, shocker. Ernie really needs a win this week, and he's playing one of the teams that have had
Shut up, you fucking midget. You're fucking 3 feet tall. You get no bitches, you little Never mind.
Ernie right now projected to win barely 123 to 121. Ernie has Mahomes on Monday night, so this could come down to that. Barkley on Sunday afternoon versus Jacksonville. Good matchup there. We'll see if he'll be saying thank you, Cheese, on Sunday afternoon.
Nope, he'll be saying fuck you, Jalen Hurts. Give the ball to Saquon.
Ooh, well, yeah, that could be too. Kyron Williams against Seattle on Sunday afternoon. Another decent matchup there, as Seattle can't play defense. Tank Dell against the Jets tomorrow night to get him started. Tank Dell, wide receiver 1. That could be a little scary against the Jets. Ladd McConkey after his monster game last week with 2 touchdowns against Cleveland. That's another good matchup. Pitts after his 2 touchdowns last week against Dallas. If Cheese says it's going to be a shootout game, then that's got to be really worrisome. Kamara against Carolina. Another great matchup. Ernie has some fabulous matchups this week. Wow. And then Calvin Ridley after his monster target game against the Patriots. Another great matchup. And then Aubrey against Atlanta. Wow. No wonder he's projected to win. Those are great matchups. On Cheese's side, Daniels against the Giants should be very good. Obviously, his 2 Detroit boys, we don't even need to go over them. They're combined 30 at least. Metcalf, assuming he plays against the Rams, that's a great matchup for him, assuming he's good to go. Zay Flowers, newly acquired against Denver. Ertz in there against the Giants. Is your
Kittle's on bye. Kittle's on bye.
Okay. Achane against Buffalo. Shakir against Miami, so big game for him with those players. And Seibert against the Giants. I gotta pick Ernie. The matchups are too good to deny for Ernie this week. I know he just scored a shit ton of points last week, and usually your team comes back down to earth the following week after scoring all those touchdowns. They're kind of due for regression. But with the matchups he's got, and with some of the situations like Tank Dell now going to be the top guy, Ridley now in a great spot as he's like the only guy to throw to now. It's just too good for me to pick Cheese, although I will say this will be a high-scoring one, like a 140 to 130 type matchup, but I think Cheese might fall this week to Ernie, who desperately needs to win. Rat, who's winning?
I think Ernie, and it's going to be the battle of the running backs, and I think Ernie's has the better matchups.
Okay.
Pulls it out.
All right.
And my boy Tank Dell will help Stroud get back on track tomorrow.
That you're not starting. Okay.
No, because Kyler will have a better week still.
Okay. Pusa.
Ernie's going to score the most points in the league this week.
Ooh.
In a shocking way. I think, again, this is going to be an ass whooping.
Ooh.
Okay, shut the fuck up, Pusa.
Cheese does not got blown out very much this season. So.
Cheese, what'd you say last week about my team?
I said that I can't hear you down there because you're so short and below me.
Okay, Jew.
All right. All right, Cheese, you gotta admit, Ernie's matchups are pretty good this week.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not Rat. I'm taking myself.
Oh, okay. I like it. Wow. A nice little shot
My
there.
MVP will pop off against the bum-ass Giants.
Yeah, you might have the quarterback advantage because Mahomes has looked very average.
It's ridiculous that Dave Montgomery gets projected for 12 points every week. When he's literally gotten above that every week besides the one he got hurt.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
DK you will be getting blown the fuck out, buddy. It's
blow your mother the fuck out. Relax.
Whoa.
The only thing getting blown out is some girl on your bed, but not by you. The guy came on your fucking pillow, buddy. That's the only thing getting blown out. It's gonna be 10 times worse than your fantasy team getting blown out.
Okay.
I might blow Chloe's brains out.
Okay.
100.
Everyone else gets to talk.
All right,
Golfer, by the way, did Slap send you words like he said he was going to?
I don't think so, but let me double check. Go ahead, Cheese.
Look.
Fuck you, Cheese.
Last week we put up 169 without DK. The Seahawks look with shit without DK. DK will come back and dominate. Dave Flowers still the wide receiver one. Baltimore. Ertz is Daniel's favorite target.
Anderson.
No, he did not. He forgot.
So Ertz is going to be a good fill-in for Kittle. Oddchain's back to an RB1 in my flex, which is great. Shakir's only dropped one pass all year. He's looking good. I think I do agree it will be a high-scoring matchup, but I think the difference is going to be Mahomes is going to disappoint on Monday Night Football.
Okay.
And Jalen Hurts will be a ball hog again.
Sounds very optimistic. You do know, though, if you lose to Ernie and Barkley has like 30, you're not going to hear the end of it.
Barkley's not getting 30.
Okay. There it is on the record.
Not getting 30.
You're getting shit on, Cheese.
All right. Moving on
getting 35.
to the next matchup. We have another nice matchup here. Zach versus Pusa. 4-4. Zach coming off that big win over Zombie versus Pusa at 5-3, who's been a buzzsaw lately. At the moment, though, Sleeper projecting Zach 128 to 122, so it must be some good matchups here. Zach has Limar against Denver on Sunday afternoon. Taylor on Sunday night against Minnesota. J.K. all day against Cleveland, pretty decent. Should be.
All day.
Tyreek Hill, is he going to be back? Are we due? Are we due for a 25-plus monster Tyreek Hill performance? We'll see. They're going to need it if they're going to beat Buffalo. Jaden Reed against Detroit. If that game is a shootout, is Reed finally back involved? Because he's been missing lately. Travis Kelce on Monday night, obviously, after what he did last week, should do more of the same this week. Wandell in there against Washington. He's been a little hit or miss lately. So we'll see if he can get back to the double-digit points. Obviously, Pusa's boy Nick Chubb against the Chargers. Decent defense, but
home run,
maybe
Yankees.
he can get some touchdowns on the goal line, and it'd only be fitting if Nick Chubb has like 25
should start Jerry Jeudy,
plus.
moron.
Wow. Okay.
If you want Jerry Judy,
It's-
you can come get him,
It's
buddy.
Nick
I don't. I'm
Chubb
saying you
versus
should
Pusa.
start
You
him.
gotta start Nick Chubb against Pusa just in case if he pops
Yep.
off and he's on his bench, Pusa will never let you hear the end of it. You gotta start him and hope that he kills Pusa.
That's why he's in my starting lineup, buddy.
All right. On Pusa's side, he has Hurts against Jacksonville. He's had multiple touchdown rushing each week. Surely he's due for some Barkley touchdowns instead. Rashad White on Monday night, so they both have Monday night players. Pollard against New England is very good. Jamar Chase against the Raiders obviously will be pretty good against the Raiders. A.J. Brown against Jacksonville, also good matchups-wise. Tucker Kraft against Detroit could be really good. Newly acquired Devontae Adams tomorrow night to get him started against Houston, so we'll see if Pusa's in the hole with Adams, his beloved boy, or if Rodgers can actually hit him for some points. Jalen Waddle against Buffalo, so the battle of Miami wide receivers. We'll see if Waddle can come close to Tyreek Hill. And then Fairbairn tomorrow night. So Pusa has 2 Thursday night players. Interesting. I think this one is going to be very close. I really want to pick Zach just because of my bet versus
Fuck you,
Pusa.
girlfriend.
Wow, I was going to pick you.
Then do it.
I mean... All right, I'm going to take Zach. I think Lemar outscores Hurts this week barely. I think Zach's running backs do better than Pusa's, and I think we could maybe see a Tyreek Hill 20-plus point game. Jaden Reed does worry me, though, and Wandell does. But
Wow.
I hope Nick Chubb has 20-plus against Pusa, and Zach gets the win, and I'm going to predict he does. I don't think it will be as high scoring, though, as Sleeper's predicting. But, Cheese, who's winning?
No, I mean, I also wanted to say Zach, but I really don't believe in Wandale, Nick Chubb, or Jalen Reed, or Jaden Reed.
Okay.
Fuck you.
Well, Love is hurt, and Daniel Jones sucks.
Can I ask you a question real quick, Zach? This is just a question. You have been very, very, very inactive with trades this year. Did it ever cross your mind at the beginning of the season, with everybody kind of shitting on Jaden Reed during when you drafted him, and then he popped off like the first 3 or 4 weeks, and everyone looked like an idiot, and you looked like the smart guy, and then everybody was like, wow, he's really good. Did it ever cross your mind to maybe trade Jaden Reed in the beginning of the season?
Reed is still him.
Never crossed your mind to trade.
Golfer, he
I
has
am
no
in
idea.
deep negotiations with some people for trades.
It's a little late now because.
Golfer, you think he has an idea?
I guess that answer kind of.
Pusa, you got something to say?
I mean,
I'll save my when it's my
7, 3,
turn.
14, 13. I mean,
Pusa, how much
after
money do you
that
want to put on this
27-point game,
How much money do you want to get on
would've been
this
the-
You
game?
pick the
between
number,
us?
buddy. You pick
How
the
much?
number.
How
I
much?
bet
Put in the
on the
chat.
show.
Put in the
Okay.
chat.
Pick the number. You
Wow.
put it in the chat, buddy. I'll let
Oh,
you
wait,
decide.
wait.
Since
Put in
you
the
want
chat.
Zach, can you name your
fucking
bench without
jack.
looking?
Cheese,
Okay,
you're a little.
There's no point in that. Don't.
I'm
we
trying
don't
to make
wanna
a
do it.
trade. No, I'm not. I'm trying to fucking make a bet, Cheese, and you're changing the subject.
Okay, so what
Pusa's
is this
trying
bet?
To fucking...
How much are we betting?
How much?
It's up
Pusa,
to
put in the
Zach.
chat. Put in the
Zach
chat, Pusa.
yapping so he can
Put in the
determine how
chat,
much
buddy.
we
There's
bet.
no shot you both are gonna do this pussy back and forth. Somebody just name the
What?
price.
Put in the chat, Pusa.
He's the one that wanted to bet, so he can determine.
ready,
how
I'll
much
So
we
take
bet.
name
any
your
price.
price, Zach. How much? Whatever price.
Any
Pusa said he'll
price
do
Pusa
any
wants.
price.
Any price
Oh
Pusa
my
wants.
God, you pussies. You both are fucking pussies wasting time. All right, Cheese, who's winning? You said Zach,
Okay.
or you're going to Pusa?
No, Pusa. Pusa seems
Okay.
been on a
Would you
tear.
like to
I'm
bet on
not
this
a-
matchup, Cheese?
Okay,
I'm not a
you won't
believer
even
in
bet
Devontae
Pusa, Zach. We're
Adams
not doing
or Waddle, but his top of the line was very solid.
it. Okay.
Bitches.
And Jalen Hurts, as I said, ball hog. So he'll score like 2
But
touchdowns.
Lamar's kind of a ball hog too, but okay. Rat.
Zach by 75.
Ooh,
Thanks,
wow.
Big Rat.
Oh my God.
Shocker there.
75. Okay.
Kush's team is dog shit. It's gonna be a downfall. His running backs are shit,
Oh.
and that's where he's gonna struggle. And it's gonna start this week.
On the
Shocker.
downfall. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
My
Yeah.
team's on the downfall. Have you seen your fucking team?
Shut the hell up, Pusa.
After
Has
this
he
week,
seen his
you will
own
see
fucking
Poor
team?
choice of words there,
Nice
right? You set
corner.
yourself up for that one.
Jamar Chase is gonna get hurt. His team.
Oh, okay. All right,
ACL.
Pusa, are you getting another win?
Fuck yeah, I'm getting another win.
Oh,
This
okay.
fucking bozo that doesn't know what his fucking first name is or fucking half his fucking team. You think I'm gonna lose to that asshole? Fuck no, I'm winning by 30.
Place your bets.
By 30.
Place your bets.
Oh my God. Okay. All right, Zach, are you gonna pull
I
this win
will
off
be
for all?
winning.
We're all rooting for you, buddy, against Pusa.
I will be winning by
Also,
48 points, which
wow.
is the same number of inches Pusa actually is in real life. 48 inches tall, 4
Wait, do you
feet
have a
tall.
bet
You fucking
versus Pusa for the season as well?
I don't know, but I'll bet him for this game right now.
Oh, okay.
Zach, so what would 48 inches tall equal in feet?
4 feet.
There you go. There we go. Yeah, Zach.
So he's saying you're 4 foot, Pusa, little midget.
I don't know why you're cheering about that.
Okay. All right. Then moving on to the final matchup of the week, we have Zombie after his loss to Zach last week, looking for a bounce back at 5-3 versus Tyler at 2-6. You know, with the other two 2-6s playing each other, one of them's guaranteed to lose. This is a big week for Tyler if he can somehow get a win to get out of that tie for the basement. Right now, Sleeper House Zombie predicted 131 to 120, so a big advantage for Zombie.
Oh boy.
He has Dak Prescott against Atlanta. I don't really like the matchup, and Dak has been pretty ass. Breece Hall tomorrow night to get him started against Houston. We'll see if Braylon Allen steals any of the points. Aaron Jones on Sunday night against the Colts should be decent. Drake London, I expect him to have a nice bounce back game after his shit game last week against Dallas's defense, who's horrible. Malik Neighbors against Washington. I mean, they got to throw the ball to somebody. I don't know about this better than Jefferson. I think he needs to take that out of his name. He's kind of slowed down a little bit. Njoku against his Chargers. Cooper Kupp against Seattle. We'll see if Nakua continues to dominate or if it's the Kupp or double-digit target game. Brian Thomas, we'll see if he plays against the Eagles. Not a great matchup, and if he's injured, or no, who is he going to play if he doesn't play? I guess either he goes with a running back or he goes with Palmer against Cleveland. Interesting. Doesn't really have many options, so he's probably hoping Brian Thomas plays. On Tyler's side, Geno Smith in there against the Rams. Good matchup for Geno. After dropping Bo Nix, he only has one quarterback now on his team, so he doesn't have to make the decision on who to start. Mixon on Thursday night, so they both have a Thursday night running back. Wow, whoever has the better game might be off to win this one. Tyrod Tracy, is he banged up a little bit against Washington?
Concussion protocol.
So we'll see if he clears that. If he doesn't clear
Singletary,
then he goes to Singletary. So he's got them both, so that's good at least. St. Brown looking for a bounce back game after he didn't have to do much last week. I expect a good game from him from Green Bay against Green Bay. Nakua in the lineup. Hey, we got him in the lineup. No Christian Kirk this week. He doesn't have to worry about it. Against Seattle, good matchup. That should be a shootout type of game. Ingram against Philly. Harrison against Chicago. JSN against the Rams. Also very good for this. And Bates for Green Bay. Wow. You know, you scroll down to Tyler's lineup, you get past his running backs, past Mixon, who's very good, obviously. I mean, if you get past the quarterback situation and you look at the rest of his lineup, it's very solid. It's a solid team. It's definitely better than 2-6, I think, at the moment. I think he's traded pretty well lately to kind of improve his team. And obviously getting Nakua back helps a lot. I'm going to take Tyler to get the win over Zombie. I'm not that much of a believer in some of Zombie's players. They've done well this start of the season, but Aaron Jones, I don't know if he's going to be as good as he was in the first half. Neighbors as well looked like a monster the first few weeks, and he's kind of slowed down. And then I don't know if Brian Thomas is going to play. And I like Tyler's lineup this week in matchups better, so I'm going to take Tyler. Cheese.
I'm taking Tyler.
Ooh, okay.
It's actually ridiculous that Breece Hall gets projected for 18 points every week.
Yeah.
He had a couple of really good weeks. The rest of them like solid to not as great. Brian Thomas is kind of banged up. I don't like Dak because he landed with how many points and Dak only at 13.
Yep.
So
39.
Aaron Jones is solid, but he's definitely slowing down, as you said. And it looks like Kirk is kind of spreading the ball out more lately than just feeding Drake London.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like Tyler's team. The only thing I don't like is I think he should have kept Bo Nix, especially because Geno's not been doing great either.
Yeah, well, maybe
so, it's not like
maybe
he's really
he's picking Bo Nix back up after the bye.
I just would have kept him for the rushing upside. Bo Nix tends to run a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his bench. He probably could have just kept him on his bench for this week.
Yeah,
That we
like
had
you
two
could have
of them. I
dropped
mean, Parker Washington
Hunter Henry.
or Hunter Henry or Zeke. Yeah.
Or Michael Wilson. I mean, Michael Wilson you could have dropped. I don't think anybody would have grabbed him.
Yeah.
Or
I don't
Zach
know.
Zeke
I guess what
trash.
I agree with you. I don't think Geno just being your starter every single week with no options based on
Oh
matchup
my God.
is
What
the best way to go about it. But we'll see what Tyler does in the future. All right, Rat, who's winning?
I'm taking Tyler.
Okay. Wow.
I like his wide receivers a lot.
Yep.
I think they're gonna have a strong week. Tracy, honestly, if he does stay healthy, he's looked pretty good for that trade that Tyler made.
Yep.
And he looks like he can overtake Singletary for the lead role. And just one question to Tyler: why the hell is Christian Kirk on the IR, buddy? You can drop him and get the shitter off your team. He's done for the season.
Well, if Tyrell Tracy is out, maybe he'll move him to out and drop him, and then he could pick Bo Nix back.
True.
Maybe that's what he's waiting on.
Look,
but, I just don't think Dak has another good week. I think Breece Hall struggles tomorrow again.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Zombies team has a little bit of holes like you said.
Okay. Pusa.
This is going to be a very, very close matchup. Probably the highest scoring of the week, I would say. Very close.
Okay.
I'm going to take Zombie in a very close one. That means Tyler just needs to pack up his things and pack a cooler, maybe a lawn chair.
Okay.
But yeah, good one by Zombie, and we'll see him next week.
So you're saying some more unluckiness from Tyler as he scores a good amount but still loses.
Yep. He needs to go to the gas station. He needs to buy ice, probably 12-pack of Corona. Maybe Corona Premier. I don't know what he prefers, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, lawn chair.
All right. All right, so there we have the Week 9 matchups. Good luck to everybody in your matchups.